Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a new video to address and call out WWE yet again on more stupidity. Now, if you guys are familiar with WWE, then what we're going to be talking about here shouldn't be too unfamiliar. But for those of you guys that are not familiar with WWE, oh boy, do I have something to talk about here that is going to piss a lot of people off, and fans are livid with what we're going to be talking about here, including me. So, with that being said, let's get into this. So we have an article that is titled, WWE Fans Roast Vince McMahon for Carrying Through with Controversial World War II Name. Just by the title by itself, ladies and gentlemen, we are already treading in very, very bad waters. Vince McMahon is the chairman of WWE and oversees everything that goes on in the company, right now to the most minute of details. McMahon is larger than life and is known to do the craziest of things. Ain't that an understatement? And it's not a good crazy, by the way, which many are true. That includes his legendary midnight workouts. Vince McMahon has been constantly criticized by fans over the past decade or so. This is because of the company's questionable decisions when it comes to booking their talents, and many fans also feel McMahon is simply out of touch. That right there is a massive understatement. He is beyond out of touch. On this week's episode of NXT 2.0, Walter squared off against Roderick Strong in a singles match. After defeating Strong, Walter revealed that he is now called Gunther. The name was related to a person who actually served on one of Hitler's U-boats. Fans took to Twitter and brutally roasted Vince McMahon for carrying through with the controversial World War II name and not seeing common sense. We will have to wait and see how Gunther will be booked from now on, as the name change might have effectively killed a lot of hype for his NXT 2.0 run. I think his run is already dead and buried, but that's just me. Now you can see here that this has pissed off a wide variety of wrestling fans, and this right here is also straight up offensive as well. Because if we remember our history back to World War II, where we were in a war against Nazi Germany, you guys would remember the name Hitler. Well, one of his generals was named Gunther Stark, who was also racist. And here's the thing as well, is that Hitler is Austrian, just like Walter. Do you guys begin to see a connection here as to where I'm going with this? Now, to a passerby here, it might not seem like a big deal. Okay, he just got his name changed to Gunther. Does that mean anyone with the name Gunther is bad? No. But if we add in some context here and give you guys a brief understanding as to how WWE, no, Vince McMahon has done things and is doing things currently, you guys have now an established basic idea as to just how horrible this decision truly was. And this right here is something that I truly feel in my heart, but this right here is also, in my honest opinion, disrespectful to all of those who have fought and died in World War II when we were against Nazi Germany. And now we have ourselves what I believe is Vince McMahon trying to turn Walter into a stereotypical Nazi gimmick to try and take advantage of a really, really, really awful situation that was World War II. And I'm personally pissed off with this because my grandfather, who I will always consider one of my biggest heroes, actually fought in World War II. And for those of you guys that have had your grandfathers, your great-grandfathers, your uncles, your great-uncles, or any other relative that took part in World War II against the Battle of Nazi Germany, I'm sure you guys can understand my feeling on this, and you guys probably feel either the same way that I do, or very similar to the way I do. Now, I also want to bring this up real quick, because this wouldn't be the first time that WWE has done things that were either very inappropriate or just straight up offensive. What we have here is the character Muhammad Hassan, and we're on the Wikipedia page. I want to read a little bit about this just to kind of nail the point home to you guys. As a wrestler, he is best known for his appearance in World Wrestling Entertainment from 2004 to 2005, where he portrayed an Arab American under the ring name Muhammad Hassan. His career came to an abrupt end when a controversial terrorist angle coincided with the July 7th, 2005 London bombings, leading the television network UPN to pressure WWE to remove Kopani's character from television. Now, I also want to point this out as well. The bombings took place on July 7th. SmackDown taped on July the 4th, and it aired on July the 7th, the same day as the London bombings, and they kept the segment in. They kept the terrorist segment in, despite this being pre-taped 3 days prior to the terrorism that took place in London. Try to wrap your head around that one. And I should also mention that the character Muhammad Hassan was created during the times when there were the wars on terrorism, and that right there is just another time that WWE tried to capitalize on an ungodly, awful situation for the sake of money and ratings. So that's just one out of many examples of the big-time screw-ups that WWE has done in the past years. Now, I don't want to pad this video out any more than necessary, but there would truly be a lot to talk about here when it comes to WWE and their controversies. But when it came to this whole thing with Walter being changed to Gunther, that right there was a straw that broke the camel's back. Any ounce of respect I had left for the WWE is completely and utterly destroyed. Like, it's one thing to be entertaining and to have some shock in your entertainment. That's one thing. But when you are pulling things like this to such extremes to try and have entertainment when it's actually quite insensitive, that right there is not entertainment, and it goes beyond shock value. You are just finding more ways to cancel yourself and turn people against you and fans off from WWE, including me, someone that was a fan of near 22 years of the product. This right here is just beyond shameful. I am beyond disgusted.